Okay, so starting here on the left side, we have Rollo as the Spartans. And as you can see, he has a lot of food. This was a high food generation. He has 2 extra berries as well as a patch of hand and some straggler fauna here. And on the right side, as the Britons, we have Obry with 2 extra berries, a patch of hand, and some straggler fauna as well. Now for this matchup, usually Britons would be favored because they can boom so fast, but the skitty type push from Rollo can be quite strong as well. And Roby already scouting around his base with the doggy. Rollo is starting pretty standard with the women. He's getting the wood from nearby his base. This is usually a good practice. I'm not sure if taking so early is quite good, because usually if you are harassed pretty early on, you can use this wood later. So for example, if you are attacked really early, then you can get this safe wood. But I guess that works if you are not expecting any early hush. Now Rollo is going quite standard as well. It seems he went for the house first approach and then the berries. 8 women on the berries though, that's quite a lot. And he's using the teleport trick to get this wood here. He'll probably start a storehouse here. What he could also do to mirror Obry approach is use the women to get the wood here and just put them in to get the wood here. Okay, and Obry starting with his first slingers, but I would not expect a slinger hush because he's not getting the stone at this moment. Seven women on food as well. Usually you don't need more than 6 women at the food at the early game, because you have so much food and so little wood. It's a little bit impractical unless you want to really spam women, but he's making slingers. So usually 6 women is more than enough at the early game. And Rollo is scouting with his cav, he also went for another cav.
DST? DST?
Now Obry does not see anything here. Okay, a little bit of harass. This is not bad.
DST? DST?
Lost a little bit of health on his cavalry for 0 kills as well, though. Now Obry was a little bit late to send the women to the berries. And he's not using cavalry for hunt, so he's a little bit strapped for food.
DST?
Now a little bit of his micro from Obry. He might lose this cavalry. But Rollo is not officially pursuing the cavalry as well, so
DST?
Obry can safely escape if he micros. Yeah, he lost this. If for example you do zigzag, a zigzag out, you can safely escape those pursuing cavalry. Now Rollo is going for farms. I am not sure I like that. Since you have 2 extra berries, these are so far that they are not efficient at all. And for example, he could have a storehouse here, a farmstead here to get this hunt as well. So I would probably go for this, especially since he sees now that Obry does not have cavalry from his own. At least he did not scout that, so it would be safe to assume that you can do a farmstead here and get this, because this is a 300 wood investment for not a lot of food, so I don't like too much these early farms. And he has a lot of idle time because of ringing the bell. Ringing the bell is very inefficient. Usually you'd want just to put the women back that are nearby the CC. And so far, Obry with a big lead in population, both population and infantry. Rollo is not using his cav efficiently at all. He could, for example, be scouting here, attacking these berries, taking a look at what Obry is doing. He could also be hunting here with the farmstead that I suggested to place here. I'm not sure I like that too much. Now he could get a single kill here. Just get closer to the women. For example, get them right on top of the woman and then start killing. Late reaction time from Obry. Now Rollo should be able to micro out. For example, if you see there are berries here, you don't need to flee on this side. You can flee on this side and see if Obry is taking these berries, and maybe if there are only women to take out these women as well. Now I really don't like these early farms from Rollo. But so far he's been able to be up to in population, mostly because of these Maharas. And Obry is taking these berries here, so for example, if Rollo had seen this, he could be taking advantage of that. And let's see. Rollo, his cavalry is not heavily damaged, so for example, he could come back, so I'd like to see that. Coming back to scout a little bit more. If you see any opportunities to harass, to keep harassing, then keep doing that. For example, these berries, they are quite exposed. The cavalry can approach from this side and kill one or two, and you can see their health. So for example, even with this man here, just send the cavalry here, and you can snipe one or two quite easily. And a little bit of a disconnection from Obry. And we're back, okay. Now, Rollo could start getting this on right now, especially since he has more wood than food. They are quite healthy, just send them and get this hunt. Same thing for Obry. I would like to see at least two cavalry from him and get this food here. It's quite good to have that, especially this one, this straggler one near this farmstead would be very good to take those. He would not need these farms right now. Okay, and Rollo start hunting. This is good for him. Now, for example, at this moment he has 81... Okay, he does that. Yeah, I was just going to suggest to start a house as soon as you have less than 10 available. So this is good from Rollo. Good for shadowing. Now, Obry with a little bit of idle CC time. So, for example, he has 43 women. Usually you can go up to 50 safely, so... Okay, he's going for the town phase early, the early P2. I'm not sure I like that, 88 population. It's not really efficient to invest 500 food, 500 wood to phase so early. I would probably want to see making more soldiers from the CC or women. Especially since he has a little bit of a lead on food, make more women. You can go up to 50 quite safely.
EST?
Now from Rollo, what we see here, he has already made all the women that he probably wants so far. As you can see, the cavalry was able to bring in a lot of food that enabled Rollo to only have 4 fields. So soon enough, Rollo should be starting to get more fields. Now, what we see here from Rollo is a very inefficient wood line. So for example, we have all these units traveling all the way here. You should always pay attention to what you're doing here. So for example, he could make another storehouse here, or he could make some men to, for example, 6 or 10 men to take wood from this side. You will also have more, you would have vision from this side in case of any incursions, and protect the women from this side as well.
DST?
This cavalry going around, they are not actually scouting anything. Okay, Rollo sends them now. Now, what could Rollo possibly see here? He could see that Obry has women, has gatherers at this location. He could see that Obry has 2 barracks as well. From the map, he probably already knows that Obry is phase 2. And Obry is taking quite a good lead here. He had some issues with the boom at the start, but he seems to be addressing those on the later stage. And still this very inefficient wood line. Yeah. Now Rollo does not seem to be doing a skitty build-up yet. He's doing skitty, but you would want to have way more men on the metal to pump out skitty for a P2 push. So in this situation, I would expect him to go for a P3 and not a P2 push with skitty. Now this cavalry they are going around, it's nice to find this cavalry, but they are really not being effective. So he's not scouting what Obry is doing. He's not aware of where Obry is getting wood from. Yeah, he is now, but just because he's pursuing this cavalry. So for example, this cavalry now, they should go around. Yeah, a little bit of a miss micro there. He will lose. Okay, he just loses 2. And what is Obry's plan here? Obry already has a blacksmith. He could upgrade this tower, make a market, make another blacksmith and a temple, and go ahead to phase 3 quite safely, because since he's Britons against Sparta, it would be quite safe to be able to P3. But what I don't like from Obry right now is that he's not scouting what Rollo is doing. So for example, he knows that Rollo usually likes to make skitty type push. He does not know if Rollo is booming well or not. He's not scouting that. So for example, if he sees a lot of skitty tie coming out of the barracks, he could be going for more spearmen and getting ready for that. 19 spearmen, it's not bad. He could make a little bit more, and I see that he's doing from the CC. He's also spamming a lot of units from the barracks. Rollo has 4 barracks as well. He's being housed at the moment, which is quite bad, but at least he's finishing one house soon, another later. He could go for the house population upgrade as well.
DST?
Okay, just one last. Yeah, and he will be able to P3 as soon as he has metal and stone for that. As for Obry, he didn't make the buildings yet, and he has a lot of metal that is not being used. A market and a temple. He still needs another building to finish for P3. This will not be enough. He's not upgrading this tower as well. Yeah, his P3 will be delayed a bit, because he's not building any P2 building at the moment. And all this, why is this bad? Because you have mined all of the, oh, he was upgrading this tower. Okay, okay, that's good. At the same, okay, they will phase 3 almost at the same time. I would give this matchup to Obry, because Rollo, for the population delay that he had so far, he does not have enough skitty tie to make a sizable push against Obry. So for example, he'll probably go for a push later on, but 16 Skirita, as though they are strong and scary, they would really not be a matchup for 1.5 your infantry population. He also has an issue with wood at the moment. He could get this wood. He could make a tower here to deny this metal as well, though not really high priority. Yeah, his wood line is very bad. I'm not sure he scouted that. Yeah, he can see at least this wood line here and this here. Take these small woods here, but his wood line is really not that great. At the same time, Obry has a really good patch of wood here to explore from. Now, Rollo has a lot of resources and he is not using them. So for example, he could go for the wood upgrade and he didn't go for that. Okay, he went for the house upgrade, that's good. Now, I dislike a little bit of this fort positioning. I think the position is good as offensive for this side, but the problem is that he's revealing, well, fortunately for him, Obry does not see it, but it's quite risky. So for example, if Obry has vision of this, he's able to deny that fort quite easily. But Obry is more concerned with building his own fort on his side than denying what Rollo has. This is a good offensive fort position from Rollo. Now he shouldn't be leaving out with these units, he will lose them unnecessarily. And he sees that finally. Going for 2 rams. But as you can see here, Obry population, Obry boom was so much better that Rollo will have still to take a little bit of time. Okay, and now Obry going for the wood deny on this location here. Pushing a little bit. Now the problem for Rollo is that he's not mining wood from any side. He's taking men from this side to this side. The men that were gathering wood on this location, they are not gathering anymore. And as you can see, the wood economy from Rollo is completely stopped. He also does not have the wood upgrade. He does not. He is not sending the women from the farms to get wood on the other sides, and this is a very bad fight for him as well. As we can see here by the populations. And he's still pushing on. I'm not. Oh, he has 49 Skiritai. Okay, that's good. That's good. But he can't be retreating like this. You need to be attacking. You can't be coming here just to retreat then and losing units on this side. And a small ram push from Rollo on that side. Now, what this affords Rollo coming back here at least gives him a good position outside of fort range, so that's not terribly bad. What I would like to see from Rollo is, for example, right clicking. For example, you can do like this. You can do like this, and then you attack from a higher surface area for the Skiritai, because then, as you can see here, or on the pathfinding, the Skiritai have to travel further before they are actually hurting the other units. And as you can see, Obry is taking quite much better trades. He's messing up the formations, he's not dealing damage while still being nearby the slingers. This is not good for Rollo. If you are attacking with melee units, make sure they are spread out and they are actually dealing damage to the units. You can't be messing around with formations, retreating and coming back. Because the ranged units, they never stop attacking efficiently, while your melee units, when they walk around, they still have to walk back to be near the other units to actually damage them. Now, you are also garrisoning units here. They are not doing anything. So, you don't... Why would you garrison units here if there is no enemy nearby your CC? You don't need to do that. And if you're garrisoning, at least put skitty if you expect enemy runs to come, because then you can kill the runs quite easily. Now, for example, this is a fight that I would not recommend taking. It's better to just garrison the skitty, kill the rams, and let the ranged units to be under CC fire. This should be a quick kill for Obry quite soon. As you can see, the trades, they are not really great for Rollo. And as I mentioned before, Rollo is taking wood, but it's only a small amount of wood. It's not really enough. Well, Obry is also not getting wood. That's not good for him. He also does not have the wood upgrade. Now this lingers destroying the CC, the fort. I'm not sure I like that very much. I mean, if you take the fort, that's fine, but you lose all of these units to the skitty. So in the end, it paid off for Rollo, but just because Obry decided to fight under CC fire here, and this was not really great for him. He will now lose another ram. So Rollo, Obry tried to be too much aggressive here, and he was heavily punished by that. For example, if he just ignored this fort and sent a sizable army on this side, as you can see, it's quite exposed. Rollo does not have any vision of this side whatsoever. If he just goes around and send a huge push here, it would be a much more efficient use of his units. And as you can see, as a result of Obry trying to impatiently destroy this fort, he lost a lot of units, and Rollo is ahead in population actually. Because Rollo was at least mining a little bit of wood, Obry is now as well. Now this is also bad for Rollo. Why would you make this temple here? What does it afford you? Actually nothing, because you are receiving fire from the units and not attacking back. And you are not having the fort working for you. Except for maybe for the hero here. Now, these are mistakes that both are doing. They are taking engagements that they don't really need to take. Rollo does not need to make this temple, and Obry does not need to be attacking this position. This temple, well, luckily for Rollo, Obry is doing the same thing here, building a temple. These temples, while you're building them, if you're losing units, you don't gain anything. Because the health gain that you would gain from having battles nearby the temple, you are losing units, so you don't afford anything, and you lose units. Another issue for Obry is that he's not recruiting units. He has a lot of resources, he could be doing that. He's having a lot of idle time on the CC, both CC and the barracks. Well, at the same time, Rollo just is mining wood from this side. He should be taking a storehouse nearby here. He's making a military mess hall here. I don't recommend doing that. He has 20 skirmishers garrisoned here. I don't recommend. They are not doing anything for you. So Rollo is ahead, but he could be much more ahead right now. Because he's doing stuff like this, like building this military mess hall, which does not afford you anything. He's not having a bigger force here, having better trades in this location. You don't need to be engaging this fort, especially in fort range. This is a fight that is quite bad for Rollo. These skirmishers, they are doing nothing for him. Now, for example, if Obry can bait out fights from Rollo here, this would be good for him, because he could garrison. But finally, Rollo gets back to healing. So that's good for him. Now, the problem for Obry is that he's not mining enough wood. He should be taking a little bit more wood. He has a lot of idle units. He could be taking this wood, he could be taking this wood, he could be taking this and this as well. So this is a potentially good push from Obry. If he has hums at home, I don't think he has. He does not have anti-ram units as well. So for example, if I think this is a good push, but if you want to do that, you need to have anti-rams at the base. You need to have an outpost to see if Rollo is coming with a push soon, because as you can see here, he has a direct line to the CC. Now, a bit of idle time from Rollo here. He's not mining wood as well, just these ones. But we see quite a tech lead from Rollo with regard to Obry, so this could be helping him a lot. Now I'm not sure what Rollo expects to happen here. Obry is actually being able to pop cap. I think it would be faster to actually capture the houses instead of slinging them down. If you just capture them, it would probably be faster. This is good distraction from Obry. He can just kill this house and go back to the other side while he recovers in the economy. Now this is good for Rollo. He made a CC here, expecting for these wood lines access to them be more important as the game goes on. And Obry is still not mining wood, as you can see here, just these units, and very inefficiently. For example, if you have 3,000, almost 4,000 food, just get a field of these women to this wood line here. Just get a field of these women on the farms to this wood line here. And balance your economy. Rollo doing barracks here. I'm not sure this is what they should be doing. They should be doing houses. Or at least getting wood. As you can see here, the wood line here has expired. Take this one, go ahead. Deny this wood line here. Units on stand ground position. Taking fire from the other units. This is not a good location to fight, it's near the fort. You don't gain anything by fighting here. Idle units from Rollo as well. You should be taking this wood line, denying these wood lines here. Going for a fort here, I mean, it's not bad, but if Obry scouts, he's able to deny it quite effectively. Fortunately for Rollo, Obry is not actually mining wood or using his wood efficiently. So in the long term, this game could turn around in favor of Rollo, but if he keeps taking these fights here, he will not be in a good position. I'm not sure making these champs was a good decision as well. He started these two barracks but did not finish them. You just destroy them and get back the wood. The wood is more important at this moment than having the barracks. And as you can see here, he goes to start the fort and taking fire from ranged units. This is not good for him. So he lost like 3 or 4 units on this move alone. Okay, we see a little bit of a push from Rollo on the top side as well. This is not bad. He should be sending the rams directly to the CC though. But this should be a really good fight for Obry. He has much more units here. This was really not good for Rollo. Fortunately for Rollo, his distraction on Obry units made Obry be quite out of position here. But this is a mistake from Rollo. He's not targeting the CC, he's targeting this tower. He should be going straight to the CC if he wants to have any chance of taking that CC down. Making these barracks the not highest priority he should have at the moment. He also loses this fort here. Just have like 10 Skiritai getting wood from this side. When the rams came, you garrison and attack the rams. But he should be able to take down this CC. Now, what I think would be have been more effective for Obry, since he had so many good trades on this location. Instead of going for the fort, just go around here, attack the units, and send the Ren straight to the CC. So for example, if you are losing your CC, you take your opponent's CC down with you. And hopefully, if there's no connection here, he's able to convert these units to Gaia. Now the match should be a little bit in favor of Rollo, but Rollo really needs to capitalize the fact that Obry has no economy. So for example, distract these units and go around and try to inflict as much damage to Rollo as possible, deny the new CC from Obry. Now this is a bad fight for Obry. I don't think he should be having these units in this location. Destroying these barracks do not afford him very much. Just send these units back, finish your CC. And especially since it's between a fort and a tower, and then try to get back by that. Rollo would not have to engage in this fight, it's not really necessary, he can just garrison this tower and walk away, get some more wood from these locations. Especially since he's not actually denying the new CC. Just make sure that you have a future lead, maybe start a new fort near your base. Get 10 women or 20 women, start a new fort, possibly remove a farm here, create a new fort here, start getting runs and go for a second blow. These runs should be getting back. Unprotected, they won't be able to do a lot. If Obry wanted, he could snipe these runs here.
Yeah, see?
Now this should be quite a bit of a lead for Rollo, but the problem is that he does not have siege. So as I mentioned, Rollo could afford to make a new fort here. And he's making a fort here. This is not a bad location if you are aggressive, but the problem is that his CC is quite exposed. I would much more like to see a new fortress location here or here, deleting a farm. I think that would be more effective for him. Now, what could Obry be doing to recover in this game? Well, first, not engaging in these fights. I think this would be a good first step. Sending units to wood, rebuilding. Well, he has 3 barracks. I think that's good. But more barracks probably would help there. Making more houses as well. I don't think these are good fights for Obry to be taken on. What could be Rollo doing to capitalize on his position? First, well, a fort is necessary because you want to have siege. Send some units and try to capture these houses, I think would be good as well. Because then you are able to pop cap Obry even further. I don't think it's a good decision to make a military mess hall here. These units would be more useful just capturing these houses here around. Scouting around, seeing what Obry is doing. Obry is not gathering any wood. It seems that Rollo is not as well. Yeah, he does not need this metal. He could just be sending these units to wood here in this location. I would recommend more patience to Rollo. Just gather a good amount of... Yeah, that's what he's doing. Of rams. Maybe make an outpost here, make sure that your CC is not exposed. I would have preferred a fort position here, closer to the base, just to be sure, because the only way that you lose the game is actually for a good push from Obry. So if you are able to strangulate Obry's economy and be gathering a good mass of units, then you're set up for later. Garrisoning these units outside of range does not really afford seem much. And as you can see here, this military mess hall was really not useful at all. He had already one. Now, but at least Rollo is taking a little bit of wood. I would like to see him capturing more houses from Obry and pop capping him. Instead of taking these big fights here, send this ram apart, just ramsack all this location with this ram, with a few units to support. The problem for Rollo is that he's allowing Obry to recover. And as you can see, Obry has even more infantry now. Now, Obry needs to get back to his farming as soon as possible. And the problem for him is that he does not have enough women for that. So he will not be able to recover fast anymore because he used all of his food bank. So he should be trying to take farms here, at least 4 or 5 farms, as much as he can afford. These women should be doing that as soon as possible. This game will favor Rollo as long as Obry does not recover well. But this is quite inefficient from Rollo. I don't think he needs to be engaging this fort at all. He could just be going around and destroying all of the buildings that Obry has on the outside, scouting to see if Obry was recovering on these locations, and then only dealing a final blow when Obry is weak enough. So for example, you take a lot of health out of this fortress, but you didn't really gain too much from that. Rollo is having a lot of difficulties finishing Obry off. Okay, and finally Obry starts farming, but the problem is this is a quite exposed location. I would like more to see these women starting farms on these locations here with a few men taking woods from these locations to try and help them in case Rollo ever attacks. Rollo keeps pushing on this strong location from Obry. This is not necessary at all. You don't need to be doing that. You can just have a single ram and having 10 or 20 infantry supporting and destroying all of the buildings around, making sure Obry is not recovering on these other locations, and then only dealing a final blow when you have a good amount of siege and a good amount of men to support that. Because, for example, right now, Rollo has all the map control. He has all of these woods to take from. These women, for example, could be taking wood from this location here. They could be taking wood from this location here. He could be just making sure that he's just massing a lot of wood and just having enough units here to keep Obry distracted from echoing back. This is not a good fight. You don't need to be engaging the fourth location here. You can just destroy all of the buildings from Obry and denying his recovery on these other sites. These are quite inefficient trades for Rollo. Also, if you're making rams, he's still garrisoning these units here that are not doing anything for him. These units could be supporting these rams. I'm not sure why Rollo keeps on this offensive here. It does not afford him very much. And he's leaking some units as well. This tower as well. They keep wanting to fight here. And this is not an issue only with Rollo, it's an issue with Obry as well. Obry does not need to be engaging here, because he has a strong position. He just needs to have an outpost to be sure of what Rollo is doing. Then he could be making these farms on this location here, having some of these men taking wood from these locations here. And just having enough men here to deter any attacks from Rollo. Now finally Rollo is going for destroying these houses here. He's still close to this linger, so this is not good. He could just be attacking these locations here. Now Rollo just rallying the units directly here. This is not good for him as well. And Rollo going for a final blow here. I'm not sure he'll be able to finish. I mean, Obry does not have anti-ram, but if Obry is able to neutralize these rams, then the push is over. Rollo might just have enough to be able to execute this. Let's see. Okay, GG, and he resigns. Okay, and we have the resign. Now, as you can see here, Rollo was quite behind in terms of economy at the early game because of the Britons. Obry unfortunately didn't capitalize on a lot on that. He tried to be way more aggressive than he needed to at Rollo's fort. He could just have ignored that fort and went straight for Rollo's economy and CC. He would have been able to defeat Rollo quite easily there. Rollo also messed a lot with his micro, but in the end he was able to capitalize on Obry's mistake, take map control, take the wood, and then proceed on. Yeah, and that's it for this game. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you guys next time.